And great to have you with us for season 2002 in the VFL. The match of the day is between the Coburg Tigers and Essendon. Drew Morford, Phil Cleary and Ross Booth will be at Coburg City Oval to bring you all the action. We'll also bring you updates from all the other footy games throughout the afternoon, and Box Hill's Donald McDonald will join us at half-time. Well, last night Kevin Sheedy celebrated his 750th game as a player and coach, and his Essendon side weren't going to let him down. Here are some of the highlights.
Gaspar and Lloyd. Well done by Gaspar. Knocked it away. Carey for it. Off the bounce gets the goal. At half-court flank. He sinks the slipper. Look at this. And his own Lloyd. Wellman kicks it straight down the throat of his teammate in Johnson. He missed it. Beautifully across. Look at that. Set up beautifully. And Blumfield takes the mark. Knocks it forward. Johnson for the Bombers. Look at that. Mercury found space where there was none. Then has a bounce just to rub it in. Here's Lloyd onto the left boot. Flicks it out beautifully. Here's Carousel open goal. Gets a toe poke on it. Houlihan, 65 metres from goal. Watch Rocker do it last week. It goes behind him and how about that? Very good down towards half forward. Chance for Mercury. Bounces off Richards. But the Tigers can't lay a tackle. Mercury kicks. Roden goes again. The two youngsters combining close to the boundary line. Roden's kick is a beauty. Richardson does well. He's done a hamstring.
Reed either having an asthma attack or some problems here.
We'll come back. Peters. Lloyd goes bang and kicks his third. 15 minutes gone. The Bombers answer after 4 consecutive goals from the 13-minute mark of the third term to the Tigers.
Final score there, we see 52 points, the difference, an emphatic victory, 16-16, 112 to 8-12-60. Goal kickers for Essendon, Lloyd and Carousel 3 each. Hurd, Barnard and Blumfield 2 each. For Richmond, Roden was the only multiple with 2 goals. There were also no reports from the game. 2 games in the AFL today. This afternoon, Collingwood and West Coast fight it out at the MCG, while Carlton take on Sydney at Optus Oval. Tonight, the Kangaroos will play the Western Bulldogs at Colonial, and Adelaide take on Geelong at Football Park. In other VFL matches, Geelong defeated Tasmania last night by 11 points. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Comes out wide though. Andrew Beveridge just on the ground. Maloney on the wing screaming for the ball. Travis Lloyd in the long sleeves. The former Geelong Falcon. You know these players pretty well. Out towards McKendrick, also just on the ground. 70 from goal. Where's Heatley? He goes in short. Callan on the burst. He can run on. He can run to 40. And Callan slams it home. That wasn't one their second. 2 straight goals. 12 Geelong, 1-1-7.
Big contest. Ronaldson was in front. Johnson at the 4. Here's trouble. Just got to sit nicely. It does for Nucky. But the back is bright. With him is Walker. O'Brien just didn't got shrugged the tackle. Stood tall. He's kicked it. Oof.
And Tassie viewers will be joining us from next week for our regular VFL broadcasts. In the other VFL match on today, Bendigo plays Springvale and Frankston take on Sandy. The curtain raiser is well underway between Carlton and Port Adelaide. There you can see Port Melbourne leading by 52 points at the start of the last quarter. We'll bring you the final score of that at a quarter time. Racing today is from Sandown, where the track is good, the rail out 6 metres and the penetrometer reading is 5.01. We'll have the finishing stages and the betting during breaks of the footy. Just before we throw out to the ground, the Victorian Titans have kept their finals chance alive with a 5-point victory over the Adelaide 36ers last night. 26 points from Chris Anstey and 20 from Jason Smith helped the Titans to their win, and we'll have highlights of that a little later on in the afternoon. But it's time for the footy and time to cross out to our commentary team at Coburg City Oval, and it's a very warm welcome back to Drew Morford, who's come home after all this time. How are you, Drew?
Thank you, Beverly. It's great to be back. I'm really looking forward to doing the VFL season during the year, and I'm with one of the old pros here, and Phil. Well, it'll be great.
Well, it was. We did the 1987 Grand Final, Beverly, which was won by Springvale and Phil Malin, and it only seems like yesterday. He doesn't look a day older, does he?
I was going to say, and other than the beautiful hair that you're sporting now, you don't either.
I've had to go for the glass one. I've got the grey hair. But at least we're fair dinkum, you see. We don't touch it up like a few blokes do. They give it the bottle, don't they, Phil?
They do.
You have that distinguished feel that I think sets you apart.
Good on you, Bev. We'll have a good time. Good on you, Bev.
Yeah, well, it should be. I'm looking forward to this. This is virtually the same sort of game that we had at the MCG last night. It's the Coburg Tigers against Essendon. So a lot of blokes on AFL lists will be going around here tonight. I just hope it's a bit closer than last night. Gee, it was disappointing with the Tigers last night.
Terrible, but, well, there'll be a fair bit of spirit in this game because it's treated as a local derby. You know, they're playing for the Sydney Road or Moreland Cup, and with Coburg having the Richmond Alliance, of course, there's a question about how many particular Coburg players, only about half a dozen in the side, and of course the Essendon side has had quite a few top-up players, Drew. You know, they've got to pluck blokes, locals, and of course there's a bloke, Edward Darcy, that they brought all the way down from Palmerston. Is it Palmerston?
He played for Palmerston last year, which won the Darwin Premiership. Yeah. So he's from way up in the top end.
And you'll spot him pretty easily, I reckon. Yeah.
They went up to get Rioli, but I think they came back with this fella.
Yeah. So I look forward to the game. Beautiful conditions, of course, here, and as I say, great local rivalry. First game of the year, and Terry Danaher was in beautiful form before the game. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great to be calling with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Gee, they had to make a lot of changes over the summer, Coburg. I think they changed their list by about 30. It was a lot. Alan Richardson coaching again this year, and here he is with Ross Booth.
Well, Alan Richardson, second year as coach, good year last year, but hoping to improve with a strong lineup today. 16 Richmond players, 6 Coburg Tigers.
Yeah, Ross, it is certainly heavily weighted in the Richmond end today. As you said, the senior club doesn't have a lot of injury. It means we get some players back, and they're terrific quality. So, yeah, we think that's going to go well for us today. We hope it does anyway.
A couple of youngsters to watch?
Yeah, certainly. We've got a young bloke by the name of Andrew Majori that's come through the Calder Cannons. He's actually second year with us, but he's a very exciting player, and we think he'll be one that'll do well today.
And the second year, you're more experienced, more relaxed, more at home, I suppose, more aware of the opposition.
Yeah, certainly. Coming out of East Burwood, the club I went back to straight after my Collingwood days. I was certainly a bit green last year to all those things, the competition, the VFL, the opposition, but yeah, I think now I'm probably a bit more aware of what's going to happen.
Well, Terry, magnificent day. You said before you'd like to put on the beach yourself.
Oh, so it'd be great, Ross. I reckon I'd last all of 20 minutes, I reckon, but that'd see me out. No, look, we just Raptors come around. You know, we've had enough practice matches now, and it's just great to get into the season, get out and play for 4 points, and gee, you're right, you couldn't get a better day for it.
A couple of youngsters, Rick White, brother of Jeff, and Edward Darcy from the Northern Territory.
Yeah, we're a bit fortunate. We were a player down, and we sort of had a look around the clubs, and we thought, well, we'd have it. We played him in a match previous to this down at Geelong there last weekend, and he did okay. So we thought we'd get him in and give him have another look at him, give him an opportunity, and he's been okay. With Edward Darcy, well, he's a kid out of Palmerston, I think, it's the name of the football club up in Northern Territory, and I think Michael had a fair bit to do with getting him down. I think he's sort of on a scholarship, and we've had to sort of relocate him and you know, get him a game of football and settle him into the cooler weather down here in Melbourne. But he's an exciting young lad, and we hope we can give him plenty of game time out there today.
Terry Danaher, I could listen to him all day, just the homespun philosophy.
Yes, he's got a beautiful attitude. He speaks really warmly to everyone, and looking forward to the game. And I'm really looking forward to Edward Darcy. I just saw him there before, wandering about, and quite pertinent comments by Danaher. And Ross Booth, he's down there, and he is our weatherman, of course, Drew. There's not much he doesn't know about the weather, Roscoe, and all the secrets.
No, Phil, it's like a beautiful Riverina day at Area Park in Rulon near Wagga. But we come out for our 15th year together, Phil. I asked one of the trainers what that was anniversary, and I said, was it paid? He thought it was 10. He said he didn't know because it was up to his 57th, so we've got a long way to go. But I did see that Essendon trainers warm up the players with the boxing, like the boxing ring. My God, I'm glad I don't play footy anymore. If there was a fight, I reckon Essendon would win it. But magnificent conditions, of course, and those Richmond players can do make amends for last night and try and push for senior selection. Paddy Steinford, the captain, they're kicking to the right of screen to the Coburg end, so let's hope the Coburg Tigers can start better than the Richmond Tigers.
15 years with you, Roscoe. That's a performance and a half. True, isn't it?
Sure is. So we're about to get underway. Essendon in Essendon's colours, the black and red, going right to left of screen. Steinford number 1 in ruck for Coburg, and gets it going Tigers' way. That's Chris Hyde, Bitterscombe, Chaffee up towards half forward, inside the 50. Another chance for the Tigers here with Ryan Pagan, Dennis's son. Poyas. And now Essendon coming in for one of their first touches of the game, and the hand pass goes backwards from McGrath, and they work it out of defence. Mark Spill down there. Well, here's a chance. And the first shot at goal is away to the left and brings up the first score of the day to Coburg.
Yes, I think it was that Simon Hart there that banged up one through. Yes, just over to the side. I'm trying to become accustomed to this, Ross. I'm seeing Essendon thinking it's Coburg, and seeing Richmond and thinking they're Richmond, and they're actually Coburg. So it's a touch of confusion, and I'll work it out shortly.
Of course, Simon Hart is Royce's son on the Richmond rookie list. And this is Mark Coughlin, a recruit from Perth. Played 5 games for Richmond. And Coughlin will be kicking from about 50 metres. Quite a still day. And now Poyas.
Yes, last year's Liston Trophy winner, shared.
Yes, with Brett Blackwell, who's left the club, the Blues, Carlton.
What's the holding in the square for John Shortledge?
Had a big season, Poyas. He was very important, and they missed him in that final, as I recall, and they lost.
Poyas also kicking from 50. It's away to the left-hand side. Still another chance for the Tigers, but the ball out of play in the forward pocket.
So was Terry Danaher. Do you look like he was still in good enough nick to play, Roscoe? Could we have stuck him in the forward pocket
for a while? I think he might have lasted more than 20 minutes, Phil. But he can talk. He can play that whiteboard too.
He's a good man to get in a shout of drinks with it too, isn't he? He can go for a while.
Now, you talked about struggling with the strip and the colours, Phil. Benny Haynes played with Richmond last year, so he's just had to paint his red, before the match.
It does make it difficult.
And
Edward Darcy.
Edward Darcy on the bench for the Bombers. Up goes Davies, 35. Hart pouncing, 11. Just hovering over the pack, that won't come out. So tied early.
Interesting, you know, talking about Indigenous footballers.
There is Benny Haynes, clearing up. There he is.
And like Ross Napoli, of course, played up in the Territory a couple of years back, and when he came back to Coburg, he brought a number of Indigenous footballers back, and they're running around here for a while. All the best to Ross. We'll catch you soon, Roscoe.
Steinford pulls it over the back. We're looking for a teammate in Pagan. He couldn't gather it. Into the fence goes Josh Marnie, the captain. There he is, of Essendon. Williamstown, Collingwood.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs? Yeah, how can I forget the Bulldogs?
More clubs than Jack Nicholls. There's Paddy Steinford, number 1 for Richmond. He's in there, pulled that ball back in, and he might get a ball up, but gee whiz, if the umpire really wanted to apply the rules there, he could have pinged him. Steinford actually did pre-season, did the summer training with Essendon. But once they drafted Paul Salmon, he figured he was about number 5th ruckman in line.
Yes, and he sent the word to my old man who's involved here at Coburg to give him a big wrap, because he said he wants to get drafted again, Drew, so we've got to wrap him up in the box.
Yeah, now, a lot of these players still with great dreams of being drafted into the AFL. Well, it's been all Richmond so far, but the Bombers bring the ball out of defence with a wobbly old kick, and the mark is taken on his chest by Joel Reynolds, grandson of the mighty King Richard, Dick Reynolds. Bitterscombe takes the mark though for the Tigers. Drives it inside 50. It's out wide and close to the boundary line, making it pretty easy for the defender. And there's Paul Hudson. who, well, after last night's performance by the Tigers, you wonder how long it'll be before he gets a game for the Richmond seniors.
Greg Hutchinson here today, and he said it was the worst display ever in football he's seen by a side with which he's been involved. I guess that includes Paran. Here's Poyas. That's what he said.
Gee, coach, people come out with some very strange statements, don't they?
Quick kick forward by McGrath in the way. There's Talbot. Feeds it off to Chaffee. And chopped off nicely by Harvey. Shane Harvey. Brother Poyas sitting back there now to the full-back Talbot up the ground. Feeds up to Homewood. Phil.
Cannot get the ball, the Essendon boys.
McGrath kicks to half forward. Loose ball at the front. Poyas gathers. Tries to get around the tackle of Davies. Let the Bobber defence tight still. And they lock it up. They prevented a goal-scoring opportunity there. Here is TD on the phone.
We talked last year about the number of top-ups a lot, you know, sort of academic point in a sense, but you're looking at Essendon with about half a dozen, or what is about 7, I think, 1, 2, 3, round about that number, and of course, it makes it not particularly easy.
Nearly 6 minutes played and just 1 behind on the board to the Tigers. Ball blocked up again, so we'll have another ball up.
Well, they had so much of the play, Drew, they really should have got a better result, shouldn't they? I mean, to not have a goal on the board, they probably had it inside 50, I would say. I mean, twice, gee, they've been hovering around.
They probably entered the 50 twice, but once they got in there, they stayed there for a fair while. Alan Richardson watching on. It's pretty tight. McGrath, not a bad effort, edge of the goal square. Hudson couldn't quite complete the mark. And those boys are quite happy to keep it away from the bloke who's approaching 500 AFL goals. Early time slot this season for the televised game, so every Saturday we're on air at 1 o'clock. So tell all your mates, just in case you grabbed us by fluke here today, tell all your mates we're on every week at 1 o'clock, the televised game. Here's Hudson, number 17. Poyas going away from goal and further away from goal, and the mark is taken here by Brian Pagan. Pagan goes for goal. Will he get the first for the match? It's close. I think he's got it.
And of course, the early start, Drew, means it feels an hour grumpier than usual.
Well, I was going to say the reason we're starting early is because the new recruit, Drew Morgan's got to drive from Pakenham. So they want him to get home before it's dark. You've got to feed the horses, look after his wife and cook the dinner. But they fiddled around a bit there, the boys, didn't they? But they're just a superior side. I think the Tigers at the moment is far more poise in their play, and Pagan then finished it off very nicely.
Lots of poise in there.
Yes, lots of poise. You're very quick. It's good to be working with an academic mind, Roscoe.
I listen to John Fane a lot, Phil. I've learned a lot from 774. Here's Steinford in the ruck. Oh, up over the top line. It was O'Keefe, yeah. He might have hurt himself, land on his point of his shoulder. There he is.
He's only coming down head first from that height.
And it's a bit hard out there in the middle. Get any rain in Pakenham?
No, badly needed.
Yes, I drove up to visit the folks, Phil, and up in North Victoria and came back. Very dry up there.
In the Merca, where we'll be.
Yeah,
it wasn't dry when you got there, was it?
No, it was a little bit wetter. There's Simon O'Keefe. And here it is again.
Well, see, he's got no protection, and you've got that youthful jump, and bang, you're out of control, and you can't land with any protection. That hurts.
Right in the middle of the play, and umpires dancing it very close to the injured player. A Hart picks up. Pagan couldn't deliver a clear hand pass. Scrappy bit of play. Hunt chasing. Chaffee keeping the ball in front. Finds a man. That was quick work by Hyde. The Tigers into half forward. Spoiled mark, not paid. There McGrath couldn't gather it. Gee, it's tight. Chance now. Goblin.
Got a foot to it.
And finally, the Bombers clear out to centre wing.
They might actually get it over the centre line, Essendon, here in a moment. No, they won't. Ball intercepted, and Hyde plays on. Gets it to the 50. Pettifer. An Essendon free kick.
Soft free kick. Oh, it's gone the other way on that one. I thought it was painted high on the person running the tackle. He gets a bit closer to the mark.
Here's O'Keefe coming off.
Rick White preparing to come on, so it's going to leave him a bit short in the ruck. O'Keefe injured in the first few minutes of the game. He's a bloke who's nearly 200 centimetres tall and is just 18 years of age. But he hit pretty hard, just short of a length. There's Bannister for Essendon. Well, Richmond winning all the contests and getting the football. Biddiscombe. Craig Biddiscombe goes out wide with his hand pass. To Pasquale. And now Poyas. Over centre wing. Comes to the front. Now a chance for the Tigers once again. And running onto this is Edney. Centres the ball towards centre half forward. Beautiful vision. And the mark is taken by Garth Taylor, who played 15 games for the Fremantle Dockers. Gets it out wide, and Simon Hart takes the mark. Well, he kicked the first score of the game a behind, and now will be kicking for his first goal as O'Keefe receives treatment. And that could dramatically change Essendon's chances of winning this game if their ruckman is out of business for the day. On Richmond's rookie list, Simon Hart, kicking from about 40 metres. Good kick.
Yes, well, they're getting a lot of the ball, Coburg side.
His mother must have been a right footer, Phil.
Yes.
She must have red hair too.
We haven't got time to go into gene theory.
But we have got two women presidents in the VFL.
Yes. Go on, name them.
Jill Matchek from the Northern Bull Ants.
Exactly.
And who's the other? Phil, you got me.
Coburg.
Oh, well, go on. Go with it. Sharon Tawney.
That's exactly right, Ross.
You are a new age club fan.
Very.
Taylor sandwiched out of it. Kept on, persisted. Sweeping hand pass, that's from Talbot. Going wide, out to Homewood. Mucking about with it, but still retaining possession. Pagan, the captain, heads long to the square. Is there a Tiger mark there? Hudson in front, didn't bring it down. Hunt was there to gather the crumbs. Nice evasive skills by White. Following it up, Davies. Essendon under pressure. Quick hands in from Goddard. Essendon through the middle to half forward. But Homewood comes out with it and gives it to Chaffee.
Kick by Chaffee is smothered. Chance here for Essendon. Driven long towards the goal square, which is unguarded, and bounces through for a goal.
I think it was Scott Howard might have got that. I'm not sure, but coming from 50, the other than Davies and Howard.
Scott Howard, yep.
Was.
Well, it was interesting then because all the Richmond blokes ran forward when Richmond had the ball, and all of a sudden, when there was the rebound, they were caught at the back.
Yeah, and he had to, that's right, he decided to go long, and there's a fingertip in it, but it's over the line. So they desperately needed that because they have not had a lot of the football, but despite not having a lot of the football, they're still in the game. And I must say, it's interesting that Hudson would be playing at full forward, because he would not play there, would he? Tell me I'm wrong, in a senior game.
Paddled out, but not to the advantage of Essendon. No, now they do. Seem to have picked up the pace a bit. Haynes, ex-Richmond player, good kick wide. Tamani, the captain, on a lead. Oh, Hawkins, the rookie player from Old Scots, 51. I'm really impressed now. There's a free kick diving into the back of the Richmond player going against Mark Bullen. Gee, and he was impressive in the boxing first up. But maybe a bit too much so, giving away that free. Marked by Andrew Mills. Inside 50 again. Danger. Good mark. Oh, almost by Poyas. Got it again. Trying to get it out. Out from Welsh for Essendon. And the pace away. That was McGrath, I think. There's two of them out there. There's one for Coburg as well. Gee, they look like Matty Richardson, but it's Chris Newman. Fires out the hand pass. Back to Pettifer. McGrath. Martin McGrath. More sloppy kick. Will it be to their advantage? Here's Taylor. Leaves it for his teammate. Back inboard. Hart. Can't get enough turn on it, but he found a man that was clever. He couldn't have a shot at goal, and he found Poyas, but he's on a tricky angle in that pocket in front of the social play.
Yeah, well, they got it into the corridor and then ended up out wide, which is not where they want it. But
stranger things have happened.
Unmarked is Bitterscombe. So that
Too
was
easy.
sloppy, wasn't it?
Was.
Just zoning, Phil.
Yes. Don't start me on zoning, Roscoe. Don't start me.
Sorry.
There are some commentators I know who just keep talking zoning and their viewer does not know what they're talking about. You mean they didn't cover the kick?
Yeah, they just stood back between the ball and the goals.
That's right. And I'm not grumpy, I'll guarantee you that.
Bitterscombe, oh, he's pushed it wide. He's managed a minor score.
Well, I suppose at the same time, I mean, he's out at a distance. Let's face it, the probabilities are that if you get into that corridor, as they started, you've got a better chance. And was that the stats man? He's up doing stats on the terrace, or is he just writing someone a letter?
He's working pretty hard at it.
He's got his problems. He needs the binoculars.
Ball brought back into play, which is good, and the mark is taken by Bullen. Had a couple of senior games for Essendon. Up just short of the wing. Now towards half forward. Almost, yes, a mark. A terrific mark taken by Pasquale.
Played the other way, Drew.
Yep, so the free will go to Sam Hunt, who came from the Geelong Falcons, played in their premiership team 2 years ago. And big things expected of Sam Hunt at Essendon. But pretty tough team to break into. He'll be kicking from 55 metres. Still day. Oh, giving it plenty.
Gee.
It's not a bad kick, it's a goal.
That's a beautiful big kick, isn't it? Amazing. You wouldn't have thought he was going to put that one through, would you? I mean, he didn't sort of even approach it like he had the... Well, he looked like he certainly was going to go for the distance. And we do get to see it again. It was just a great piece of power off the boot. Just have a look and see what he does. I mean, yeah, just
good
pretty
55.
Well. Oh.
And he's cleared the line easily.
Imagine if he'd gone back a few metres.
Good Catholic boy, Phil, from St Joseph's.
Really?
Yeah, Geelong. I tell you what, I was impressed in that box, and he was really giving it a thump, and he gave that footy a thump. So maybe the game will open up a bit now. As Essendon hit back, a strong mark at the back by Chaffee.
Well, the Tigers have had, Coburg Tigers had a lot of the football, but without a lot of results.
Points the target. Muscled out of it by McAllister was good. At the fall of the ball there was Craig Edney. Couldn't gather it. The spectators there get a bit of them.
And if I'd had Proton for breakfast, what would I have had? A car. It's called Proton Oval now, the ground, isn't it? Did you know that?
I did see it as I walked in.
You eat cars for breakfast, do you?
There's a time when I did.
Sourdough now, I think it's just sourdough.
Yeah, that's right. Proton Oval. It just reminds me of a health drink or something, yeah.
Just have plenty of grain in it, Phil.
That's right.
At your age and mine.
But look at that score. Coburg 2 points ahead. In the first 10 minutes, you would have thought they had the ball on a string and were completely outclassing the Bombers.
Umpire Ryan with a bounce.
They've had 20 more possessions and lead by just 2 points as a result. There's Haynes. Did it beautifully, and that's a magnificent kick to Josh Marnie. Across the ground, this is trouble, and the Tigers have it.
He knows better than that, Drew.
Yeah, it was a poor hand pass there by Hart, and blocked up, so we'll have a ball up just on the edge of the centre square.
Just can't afford to waste the ball like that. You're the class player, you're the captain of the side, and you're supposed to be very skilled.
Free kick came out to Pagan. Awkward half volley. Comes down to the front to De Pasquale. Hand passes have got to hit targets, not bounce along the ground. Saw Matty Richardson give one last night at the MCG.
Oh, look at the goal square.
Hawkins. Unmarked. Oh. This will be a goal for sure, and they'll hit the front as a result. Oh. The spoil came late from Talbot, the backhander, and did it get over the line? It was smothered off the boot. It might be a goal.
It is.
It is a goal. And off the boot of Alan Wilson.
I think he banged it into the goal umpire in the end. That's why it bounced back into play. But, gee, what an amazing turnaround by Essendon. They just looked so ordinary in the first 10 minutes. There's a good lesson in that for any football. You just got to stick at it. They've gone hard at the football. Have a look at this. Dropped the mark, flicked it back. Now, yeah, he's hit the goal. I'll tell you what, that's interesting too, Drew. He's kicked it into the goal umpire. Was it going to go through? Just have a look at this.
I reckon.
Let's have a
and
peek.
it's a scooper throw.
Oh,
That's a goal.
well, you have been telling me all week that your eyes aren't too good.
That's true.
Stive it up, use his body well in the ruck. I'll separate you two later. Up to 50. Big pack again. Haynes couldn't gather the bouncing ball. McGrath 30, trying to push it out. The pack's just too big. There's Haynes, Benny Haynes. He was a man of the match one day, I think last year or the year before. Goal kicker. Enjoying the sunshine. The spectators here at the City Oval, Coburg. Long trip today, Phil. The Robertson Bridge shut to come up Punt Road.
I thought you were addicted to CityLink.
Unfamiliar territory, yeah, bit out of the way. Stiven, long, who's there? Oh, thought he was under it, but he stretched those fingers, Phil, and pulled in a beaut nail.
Well, he had the run. I don't think in the end he even didn't even really have to climb any players.
Well, that's a candidate for the TXU Power Play of the Day.
It sure is. A big leap. One of the aspects of the great Australian game that people do go to the football to see.
Named at full forward, just 182 centimetres. Not tall. Pettifer. Want to put the Tigers
Seems
back
to
in
like
front.
it.
Well, does he? Looks a bit like a young Ian Rickman there, Phil, on that shot. He didn't have a look of glee on his face, but he did like the result from the goal bar.
Well, when you look at it, it was a pretty easy mark. It was an exciting mark, but you see, you can't let players run and jump into a ball like that without any player impeding the progress. Look at this. See, there's no player to impede his progress, no player to put the body, only one player to step in front of there, Drew, and he doesn't mark it, you know. So just shows you really all those little elements of the game. You talk zoning, that's what they mean in zoning, that a player getting between the kicker and the football.
Good bounce by the umpire. Went a mile in the air. Out of there by Harvey. Here come the Bombers again. Hand pass out across to Marnie. Kick by Marnie. Looks pretty good. And just offline through for a minor score. Incidentally, there'll be a vacancy on Richmond's forward line next week because Matty Richardson's done his hamstring for a month. So I reckon Pettifer's put his hand up pretty early and said, hey, look at me.
Yes, unless they're going to go for a real tall, but he's certainly, there's blokes that know that there's a spot there, so you've got to put your best foot forward.
Kick wide to Di Pasquale.
On the rookie list.
Upgraded, just the Coburg VFL side on the Richmond rookie list. Reynolds, I think.
Just made the state side last year.
That was Di Pasquale. Good judgment there by Carlson.
Lee Carlson. Gee, that takes me back. I was calling Lee Carlson's name 15 years ago.
Yes, and he started his career at Preston too, Drew.
Yeah, coaching still in the VAFA, Lee Carlson. Here's Bitterscombe. Got support from Newman. Let him time. Oh, I don't know if that was intended. Simon Hart tried to find Poyas, but he did. Kick, not very effective. Bit of a sprawl there. Two Essendon players. Lisa going hard at it. Pettifer harassed hard by McGrath. Toby McGrath, brother of Corey. There he is. That was pretty. That was good defensive work.
British crowd has gathered early in the afternoon for the televised game.
A lot of players around the football there.
Essendon making a need to change. Brian Ashton coming onto the ground.
Ooh.
Dodging and weaving. McGrath puts it high to the goal square. Punch down to the front, and that's a goal to Edney.
Well, that was Pettifer, wasn't it, who did the big leap? Was it Pettifer? Might have a look at it, but he was someone was up very, very high, and Edney was just sitting at the bottom of the pack. Easy as you like, but it was in that danger zone for the Bombers.
Craig Edney, boy from Yarrawonga, a rookie who was elevated last year. Now let's have a look again. This is Martin McGrath. Puts it very high, and the leap is nearly as high as the trees.
It was, that was Simon Hart, in fact, yeah, leaping there. Similar hair colouring right up above the pack. Dropped into Edney's hands and bang.
Nearly 25 minutes on the clock. This opening TV match, ABC match here at Coburg. Pagan was in the right spot, defensive side of the pack. Up to Hudson, thought about soccering it off, but Welsh was in strongly, good play. So too was that by Bullen. He's very physical. Made free kick off the ball, let go. McGrath finds Hunt. Now he did a long one. Just wasted a bit of time. Now he heads in the direction of Hawkins. Lost his footing. Good roving. Harvey brings it back. Shane Harvey.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, he's got some talent, brother of Brent. And that's an indication of why they think he's very talented. That was a nice finish.
Well, that was a great finish. He was very, very accomplished when that ball hit the deck. And you just see that is all class. You could see that in his face. He knew he was going to kick that goal. He took it beautifully straight over the top of the umpire's head. And if he wins the ball enough inside 50, that boy, he will be very, very dangerous.
Well, that's a candidate for the power play of the day as well. The way he kicked the back of the ball to spin it back through the goals. Essendon took him as their #1 choice in the draft last year, and you can see why from that. Garth Taylor gets the kick out of the middle, and terrific mark taken by Marnie. Works towards the outer side. Welsh. Oh, good pick up. Marnie followed up. And it was a shocking kick. And now Richmond, Homewood out of defence, Coburg. Out towards Edney, who kicked the last goal for the Tigers. Good pass on this occasion, and the mark taken by McGrath. Martin McGrath, an 18-year-old, puts it inside the 50. And what a big mark. I want to see something from Paul Hudson shortly. Ooh, crunch, down goes Poyas. Was it high? Free kick right in front.
You learn, Drew, that anything like that on the television set, Ross Booth will be calling a free kick before the bloke even hits the ground.
I was not agreeing. I was indicating what the umpire said.
But you were definitely giving out the fingers up, as in he was correct. And I suppose on reflection, when I see it there, I'll have to accept that I hate those free kicks, but I'll agree that it was there in a technical sense.
Sure, we'll see it after this.
Poyas. Virtually right in front, no distance. Easy goal.
You were very technical when you tried to take on the Constitution work as well.
Don't mention the war.
No. Not so early in the season.
That was worse than losing a grand final. But you see the importance of laying good tackles. I mean, that's a giveaway goal because the bump collects the play. Now, we just see it here. Look, see, casual, lazy. Could have knocked him over if he wanted, but he plucks his head. It's a free kick.
That bumped him in the side.
Bumped him, yeah, that's what I mean by knock him over, yeah.
And that's Daniel McAllister, who has been at Essendon for 5 years for just 4 games.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
No, that's right. That's lazy, Drew. You know, coaches hate that.
In the ruck was Homewood for the Tigers. He won it. Came out from Coughlin. Thumped long by Bitterscombe. And Poyas has got it again. Well, the Liston
played good footy, hasn't he, Ross, in the VFL? And, you know, he's just a whisker off being a real senior player. And it's a tough gig, though, to be a regular in a top side.
Yeah, the way he's going, he'll be promoted next week. Played the last couple last year, I think. Good-looking shot at goal, just hooked at the trifle.
Well, if Richmond's team was picked on form next week, about 18 of these fellas are walking.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the problem, though, that at times the game is a little bit too open and you want to see blokes win in heavy traffic.
Now here's a chance to see Edward Darcy for the first time just off the bench. Poyas bowled over once again, so he's certainly getting into the play and getting shaken up. And this will be a ball up at centre wing.
Imagine, like, Edward Darcy comes down from the Northern Territory, thrown into a game here. There's Doc Reed, the Essendon doctor, former Essendon champion too. There he is on screen, thrown into a game, and he's got to try to adjust. Very, very interesting, isn't it? Big ask.
Yeah, very big task he's been set. In he goes, applying the tackle to Chaffee, who's played a lot of league football. Bannister. And the siren for quarter time. Well, the Tigers got a little bit of value towards the end, but really for the amount of play they had, to lead by just 8 points, it really isn't a true reflection of how the first quarter went. It's 5-3-33 to Essendon 4-1-25.
Yeah, and look, Terry Danner would be quite happy about that because they were well and truly outclassed in the first 10 minutes, and yet at the end of the quarter, like to be only a goal and a bit down, he would be saying to them at quarter time, that's a good effort. He'd be satisfied that they've held their nerve, that they're still working at it, they've plucked some good goals, a little bit loose in their back half. They need to tighten up, and he'd be unhappy about that easy free kick to Poyas. Then you see the goals. That boy Harvey there, that goal, one of the power plays, he's a very exciting looking player, if that's any indication. Pettifer's been dangerous. Poyas had a lot of the football. So, very interesting first quarter. Essendon looking outclassed, but they're in the game, and I'll be looking forward to see just how it does pan out in this second quarter.